Our topic on Cittanupassana regarding tranquilized consciousness. That means the consciousness that has overcome the 5 hindrances. But since the next one will talk about Mahagata, or expanded consciousness, which are jhanic consciousness, absorptions. So we can presume that this category does not include up to that, and we leave that to the next topic. So as I said last evening, as you practice properly, you have your object of concentration, and then you have your continuous mindfulness, and you take care of your hindrances, thinking, sleepy, and all that effectively and very well. Then eventually you would rise in the concentration. By right, isn't it? Very simple thing. Just follow your consciousness, make your mindfulness continuous. Don't think so much. Don't fall asleep. Wake up. Your concentration will pick up. Very simple. If it doesn't, then why? You should know the reason why. Usually the mindfulness is not strong enough. It's not continuous enough. And that's the main reason. Of course you can start blaming other things. Too hot, too cold, too many cars outside, too much pain. What else can you blame? You blame so many things. Which you are not entirely wrong, but it doesn't help. The main thing is your mindfulness must be strong, continuous, and if you have a good object, then it picks up faster. You don't have a good object, then difficult. Anyway, if you do, then your hindrances, the defilements become less, and the faculties, the mindfulness, concentration becomes stronger. Your mind will be clear, there will be too much restless thinking. When that happens, when there's mindfulness, the mind will listen to you. Watch this one, you watch this one. Don't watch this one, then you won't watch that one. If your mindfulness is not there, you say, watch this one, you go and watch some other thing. Don't watch that, he's purposely going to look for trouble for you. You don't have mindfulness, that's what happens. So here you're watching consciousness. And so when you're watching consciousness, continuously the concentration also will build up. As a primary object, rising, falling, or body foundation of mindfulness, like breath, is generally suited to the picking up of concentration. Pain? No. Because pain is very agitating. You get disturbed. Normally when your pain comes, oh how nice the pain is coming, that doesn't happen. If that happens, you must be a sadist or something, masochist. But otherwise, no, because the pain is a very harsh object. When it comes, your mind gets agitated and disturbed. So you have to specially calm the mind. Okay, nothing wrong, you won't die. And when the mindfulness is strong, concentration, right concentration can build up. If you talk just concentration, pain builds up concentration very fast. Because pain is a strong object. It holds your mind. Of course, it doesn't hold the mindful mind, it holds the angry mind. I don't want pain, but pain keeps coming after you. Like, what you call the dog bite your backside and won't let go. So the mind is all on the pain, it cannot run away. But when you watch consciousness, consciousness is conducive to concentration, if you can watch it. If you can follow it. Because when you watch consciousness, all the sense objects go away. It's totally at the mind door. And when you're at the mind door, you zero at the mind door, the consciousness, concentration, sinking. Provided you can follow the mindful consciousness, and you can follow the mindful consciousness, then of course then concentration picks up, there's joy, and with the joy and mindfulness, the concentration sinks in very fast. The thing that is lacking is that you don't know what the consciousness is. Consciousness is a subtle object, and so you don't know how to watch it and what is it. But as I told you, this is consciousness, and you watch the consciousness and follow the consciousness, and then the concentration will pick up. And you become not just consciousness with craving, anger, delusion, but consciousness without anger, delusion, and with the concentration pick up, it becomes the tranquilized consciousness. This you can feel clearly as you meditate. The thinking, cha mind will going off, it becomes more quiet. The disturbed mind become quiet. And the delusion goes away, the mind becomes clear and bright. And so it is tranquilized. Samahita citta. So when the mind is tranquilized and you watch the tranquilized mind, what happens? And then you can see more things in the consciousness. That's when things starts becoming interesting, or becomes a bit tricky. As I said before, you watch consciousness in the beginning because you see the associated mental factors, the mental states, the cetasikas, that arise together with it, and the objects that it takes. So what we are talking now in Cittanupassana is watching the consciousness, which means that the line of development is the consciousness. In the beginning, you know the consciousness, the different types of consciousness, because of the different mental states associated and the different objects that go with it. Objects like eye objects, ear objects, nose objects, tongue, all these sense objects, and the different mind objects that go with it. So as the object changes, you see the consciousness change. emphasis is the consciousness change, or the mental states that go with it. No? Craving, anger, delusion, if you tranquilize, those are not there anymore, and maybe very subtle. But the other things like the feeling, the type of feelings, joyful feelings, equanimous feelings, or the other mental states like the perceptions, the concentration, all the other type of mental states, the contact, the energy, and all those mental states, they change. As and you see the mental states change, you see the consciousness with these mental states change. So when you're watching the mental states directly, you don't call it Cittanupassana proper, you call it Dhammanupassana. You watch the consciousness associated with the mental states as a main focus, then it says Cittanupassana. Right? For example, you feel tranquility. Tranquility comes under concentration, or it comes under passaddhi. So when you see this tranquility or passaddhi, quietude or whatever you call it, becoming stronger and weaker, you see the consciousness changing. That means the indicator is the mental state, but the main thing is the consciousness. Alright? Take for example, you're going on a tourist, Kai Kai. Okay? You like Kai Kai? Of course, Melaka people non-stop Kai Kai, NSKK. So, Kai Kai King. Okay. So when the Kai Kai King, how do you recognize the Kai Kai King? By recognizing him. So the Kai Kai King will take the flag. Alright? Flag, follow the leader, the Kai Kai King, tourist guide. So a whole bunch of people like Tanjak Kwang, Li Teng Chu, Teng Fong, all will follow. All follow the Kai Kai King flag. So all these people around him are like mental states, connected. When you go Kai Kai, we are there. So they are associated with him. So you follow the Kai Kai King, the flag. So that's the citta, the consciousness. The mental states, sometimes they're there, sometimes not there. Generally they're there, but sometimes no. Like you go, Kai, don't know this jungle lost in some remote part of India. He missed the plane, and he's not there. But the Kai Kai King is still there. So in a way, the mental states indicate the presence of the consciousness. But the main thing that you follow is the consciousness when you talk of Cittanupassana. Okay. So there are many types of mental states associated as you study the Abhidhamma. But there are also other mental states that are not described or not emphasized. But they are there and they can make part of the presence of the consciousness clearly. There's a difference between following the mental state and the consciousness. There is an important part, because when you watch the consciousness, you are in your hands the whole show. Because the consciousness is connected with all the things around it. It's like the boss, like the leader. So you know if you control the boss, then you control everybody, right? So who is it that controls the king? The king is the one, the leader of the country. Who controls the king? Yes? Of course, the wife. You don't listen to me, I pull your ears. I will go, okay, okay, 老婆大人，老婆大人，你講乜我就做啊。So no, you control the king. So you have the mindfulness. When you see, because when you see the get hold of the consciousness, all things of the consciousness, you know. And one particular importance in vipassana is anatta, non-self. Non-self is the key to insight meditation. And if you can see the consciousness as non-self, you will also see all its corresponding mental states, all its corresponding objects, and all the corresponding connections connected with rupa, materiality of body as well. Otherwise, you watch only one part. You can see non-self in craving and anger, but you cannot see in delusion. Because delusion is too subtle. So you only, you become better than nothing. You become a one-eye jack. The one-eye jack. Who is one-eye jack? The pirate with the, what do you call it? Captain Silver, is it? Remember? Captain Cook. Are you sure? Captain Cook. Captain Cook is the one that discovered Australia. Hook, Captain Hook, not Captain Cook. Captain Cook discovered New Zealand. Captain Hook. So that's why it's important. Once you can see anatta clearly, then you can see anicca clearly and dukkha clearly. But we go to that later. But important thing of watching consciousness is to see the anatta, no self aspect of the consciousness. Then that is the thing that overcome wrong views. Wrong views is the first and greatest fitter obstacle in vipassana or in defilements. Now the other thing is the object of consciousness. At first I've already spoken to you about this regarding the five senses. The seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, and object of the seeing is the eye object, color, hearing is the sound, and so on. Now at first when you look at seeing, hearing, you see the object. But when you go into actual Cittanupassana, you watch the consciousness of seeing. Seeing is a process, a mental process, many cittas, many consciousness. But we don't go into that Abhidhamma stuff, we go into the general practice of Vipassana. So the seeing has to do with the process of the eye seeing consciousness, and the hearing consciousness. So when you're more into watching consciousness, when you're seeing, you take note of the seeing consciousness. Hearing, you take note of the hearing consciousness. So you see that seeing, hearing, smelling, touching is not the same mind. Ordinary people, the mind sees, hears, smells, it's the same mind. But it's not the same mind, because you see, he's seeing consciousness, ding, 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 beep, 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 pop, pop, disappear. Hearing consciousness, zzz, when the sound is gone, zzz, the hearing consciousness, pop, disappear. And so with the five senses, these are clearer in the sense of the sense doors, because the sense door objects are olarika, gross. So easier to see. But the mind objects can be subtle. It ranges from gross to subtle. So when you see the mind object, what are mind objects? Mind objects are the consciousness, the mental states, the subtle rupa, sukuma rupa, and all those things, and the concepts, some more subtle. These are the things that you see in you're watching your consciousness in the mind, or you tend to come across this. And the thing is, when you do vipassana, cittanupassana, you have to keep it to the paramattha dhammas, the ultimate realities. You go to the concepts, you are going to a different, following a different story, different road, different path. Your path is the path of consciousness. You follow the consciousness. And so when you watch rising, falling, you're following the path of the rupa, materiality, vinariman. After that you go rising, falling, tick, tick, tock, tock, tick, tick, tock. When you go tick a tock, what is that? There's tick tock. What is TikTok? Eugene, what is TikTok?
TikTok is a social media platform.
See, TikTok. Actually, I don't know what's TikTok. It's something to do with gossip. So when you should watch your consciousness go TikTok, TikTok, TikTok. What is that? It's something happening. Something, some kind of contact, mental contact. But what is contacting? You watch longer, you find out. It may be a lot of concepts. It may be a paramattha rupa also. It could be Vedana also, but it's very subtle, you cannot see it properly. But it could be just some funny thing, going on, some ideas of some clock, TikTok. Something going on. So you watch closer, you find out. When you see your friend saying, I'm trying to reach you, then of course, it's a concept. So when you go to vipassana, cittanupassana, you go to the mind or the mind object, you must know what you're watching. Generally, you know the rupa and the feeling, you know it's there. Those are what you call ultimate realities. But when you go to the finer ones, you have to be careful. How do you be careful? First, you make sure you're really mindful. Not just, I don't know, like the clouds, floating the clouds, so nice, conscious, so nice. It's been very clear, Chittanupassana. And so when you're very clear, you're supposed to be watching what? You're supposed to be watching the consciousness. So you're watching TikTok. Are you watching the consciousness? You're not watching the consciousness. You're watching the mental object. Is the mental object an ultimate reality? You tell me. So I don't know what TikTok is. I asked him what TikTok is. He knows, because he's been playing with it probably. But it's okay. It's a worldly thing. But when you vipassana, is something else. Vipassana TikTok is a unknown factor. So you stay with the known factor, and you stay with the consciousness, the knowing mind. The TikTok mind object. A bit risky. So as long as you're really mindful, that's one safe point. Second thing, you're watching the consciousness, then you're doing Chittanupassana. Otherwise, pull it back to consciousness, and if you cannot clearly hold on to the consciousness, hold on back to your rupa, Kayanupassana, Vedananupassana, rising, falling, or your pain is also okay. Yeah? At least you know it is a ultimate reality. But then you are more aware of the types of mental objects, then you know this mental object is a concept, or is it a ultimate reality? Or is it what? The subtle materiality is difficult for you to tell because you're not used to it. Sukuma rupa, it's a bit subtle. But no, if you know, then it's okay. No? The nature of Dhammas, that goes into Dhammanupassana, which we'll talk about later. When you watch it, even though it's not Chitta, it is Dhamma. It's the ultimate reality. And okay, because Dhamma also bears the three universal characteristics. Otherwise, the safer point would be see it as a mental state. A mental state. If you see pain, of course, sure, it's Vedana, it's clear. But there are other mental states, and you recognize the mental states. So from the beginning, I will tell you, you start recognizing the mental states. And when you watch consciousness at the back, consciousness, you see the mind being light. And the lightness of the mind is the mental state. And you see the bright mind, the brightness of the mind is the mental state. And you see heaviness, the heaviness of the consciousness is the mental state. No? Why? Because you see the connection very clearly down there, right? You see this wave, water, you see waves come out, go back, you go to the Melaka. Melaka coast not good for surfing. Is it? Is that Melaka coast good for surfing? No, because it's very flat, you know. Good for swimming, paddling, take a tube, jump. But a lot of jellyfish and snake. So but for surfers, they see the wave. They see it's a good wave or it's a bad wave, and they ride on the wave. You know? So you see the wave. When you see the wave, it definitely comes with the water, right? Right now, when the wave comes, the water is there. You see the wave comes with this water. If the wave comes out and there's no water, what is it? It's probably a shark. Jaws. Crocodile. So because you know the mental state, because the mental state connected with the consciousness. So you watch whatever happening, bubble here, bubble there, bloop bloop here, bloop bloop there. Anyway, you see it as a consciousness because you see the mental states clearly, because the mental states is part of consciousness. Right? And that's so it's easy for you to hold on to that and go back to the consciousness. Yeah? But you start going to other mental objects. Is it a mental state? Is it a concept? Are you sure? Sure? Really sure? You're not sure, then you are taking a chance. Yeah. Generally, there are a lot of things you see, and more mental states than questionable stuff. Then, of course, depends on the percentage. But generally, even that happens. It's not so bad. In a sense, you won't go crazy at once. Go crazy after some time. How much is some time? Depends on who. People a lot of complicated mind. People with a lot of this psychotic, neurotic tendencies are faster. If generally you're quite sane, then of course not so soon. But before that, what happens, you end up in a lot of concentration, which is not vipassana. It looks like vipassana, but it is not vipassana. You see a lot of tick-tock, zip, zap, arising, going. They think it is arising and passing away. It is not. 那个是假象来的，不是真相。So that's why I'm telling you, want to do Chittanapassana, you bear this in mind. Once you're not sure where you're going, then you go back immediately to your rising, falling, and your pain. But I'm not discouraging, I'm encouraging that you should learn to. So I'm giving you some guidelines, and you want to go far, you get the proper instructions. Usually you watch them for some time. Doing Chittanapassana is like what you call doing Kaya is like going on a road. Doing Vedananupassana is like sailing on water. Chittanapassana is like flying the air. Because consciousness is abstract in the sense of it is like space. When you see a mind door, is a space. The space where the mind object finds its place. Or it's like a space, like a screen, where the mind object falls on it and you see the object. It's a screen, like a space. And so when you do Chittanapassana, where Chitta is the main object, it's like you fly through space. But no, it's not so problem. Even aeroplanes get into trouble. Aeroplanes have very powerful wings, powerful engine. They fly intercontinental flight. Even then they get into trouble because there are thunderstorms. And then there are a lot of birds, they go into your engine. You can just stop. And so it's like going to space. So once you recognize where is space and where is not space, then you can maneuver through. You know? And so, but before you learn to fly so high, you learn to fly first like a frog. Oh. And after that, you learn to fly like a grasshopper. Flap, 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 flap. And after that, you start flying like a little bird. Like what? Sparrow. After that, you learn to fly like a burung kakak. Burung kakak dua. You fly. A crow. And a crow can fly. Crow very, very fierce bird. One of the things the crow doesn't like are people like hawks and eagles. No? When the hawk and eagle, big eagle come to attack. So this. And finally you fly like eagle. So you fly beyond the clouds. The clouds are like a lot of sankharas, a lot of formations, a lot of mental states, the finer mental states. And so you can go very far. But before that, slowly, when you last longer, you're more familiar with the ground, then you're more familiar with the territory. Hopefully you are the one that don't get too much complicated. You are the type that kaypoh, and then all this thing will come and look for you. Or you're the one to see a lot of video games, and all your video partners will come and look for you. Because all those are mind objects. Or you're okay, a very nice person, but you're someone who has a very turbulent past. That means in the past life, you were army general. You know, and what the army general in the what? In the what you call 三国演义. The warring kingdom, the three kingdoms, one of those general, whether Zhang Fei or Guan Gong, every head comes, chop, chop, all the head, chop, chop, chop. Whoever's head comes near me, I chop everybody's head off. So in this life, you're born as a human, trying to practice vipassana. All the heads were not looking for you. It's true. There's one friend of mine, he used to have this fast food chain. He himself doesn't chop the chicken's head, but when he orders chicken, the heads of the chicken are gone. So sometimes you meditate, you see a lot of chickens after him. It's not very funny. People like this are wrong livelihood. I always tell a friend, one of the times I was in a Thai temple, I went to a Thai temple, and there was this ceremony and all those things. And then one of the Thai ladies was very proud because she married a Chinaman. The Chinaman ada wang lah, ada wang, ada sayang, you know. So rich man, but he's owns a chicken farm. Cây cột cốt, thầu kia. So I saw him. I said, my goodness, next life I know what it's going to be. Why? Because even in this life, he already looked like a chicken. His mouth out like a big nose, right? Yeah. He's really fat and plump like a fat chicken, no? And he walks always with his hand at the back, no? when you walk, you really walk like a chicken, you know. I say, really, no joke. Jokes aside, it really look like it. So in such cases, it may be complicated, but still, no, it's not so bad. Vipassana is very powerful medicine. But of course, in such cases, you have to vomit a lot. The first thing when people start practicing Vipassana, what do? Vomit. Right? That's why when the first time people come to meditate, they say, they don't actually vomit. Their mind will do all the vomiting, you know. All the thinking, all the talking, all the nonsense will start coming. It's called vomiting. So when you do Chittanapassana, you go, especially Chittanapassana, it goes into the consciousness and digs out all this rubbish. All those things hiding inside, you know, they come out. When you practice Vipassana, generally they will come out sooner or later. But in Chittanapassana, because you're getting close to the mind, and the mind door, you see all these things. So, play safe. Make sure you're really mindful. When you watch the object, it's a Paramattha Dhamma, you're watching consciousness, doesn't mean that watching consciousness. If you cannot follow it, go back to your body and do what. Okay. Now, go talk about the other thing. This one may not concern you so much, but I'm just talking it as a more like theory or reference. This time when we come to the next group of chittas in Satipatthana, is Mahagata and Amahagata. Mahagata refers to the jhanic consciousness, absorption consciousness. And Amahagata means anything which are not jhanic consciousness. So this what refers more to people who have done samatha or doing samatha meditations that get into this type of absorption consciousness. But not all samatha meditation goes into absorptions, jhanas. Number of them just reach up to excess upachara, which is close to jhanic consciousness, near. Excess means near, which means the hindrances are also inhibited. The difference is in the actual absorptions, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 jhanas, those type of jhanas, it is frozen. In the sense that it is, the mind is fused with the object. So there's no obvious change of movement you can see in that consciousness at that time, when you're in the samatha jhana. But there's this, what do you call this, excess concentration. Excess concentration is, you haven't gone to the jhana, but you're very close to it. It's getting numb. So, but you're very peaceful and very tranquil. It's generally the same case. You cannot see the three characteristics clearly, because it's almost frozen, as good as frozen. Except that the fusion is not complete. Absorption is to say the consciousness is concentrating on the anapana object in an object, and you reach the point where you don't feel the breath, but you see the nimitta, the sign, which is maybe something like a cotton wool or something very bright light or something like that. So what happens is when absorption comes, there's a fusion. The consciousness and object melt together. It's fixed. Sometimes you can feel it like a fixation, crack, Sometimes it's like you melt it. When it's totally fused, then it's cut out from all the senses. It goes into what we call appana samadhi. That means you don't have this 17 thought movements anymore. It's just a jhavana phase, impulsive. That is like deeper than deep sleep. You don't know. This is my opinion. Some people don't agree with it. I still believe strongly in it because on and off I still practice it. And so, but when you wake up, you remember at that point what was happening. It was just a consciousness together with object. If it is water kasina, it's like you're underwater. So, that's a fixed part. At that moment, you don't know anything. There's a consciousness and there's an object, but normally the normal knowing is not there. If he's there and still watching the object and he thinks it's jhana, no, I don't believe. At best, it may be upachara, excess. Excess is like, you're just on the surface. You see the object is like that. But you still know like the object is just sticking to your face. The object is just sticking to your face, like that. And that is a very close object. Like the light, if you concentrate on the light is, your mind is on the light, but you still know the mind, this is the mind, this is the light, and it's still excess. It's not, the fusion is not complete. So what happens is, at that point, you're still aware of the object, but it's still as good as frozen, because you don't see any change. You don't see any change. No anicca, no dukkha, no anatta. Dukkha, of course, no lah, because at that time very peaceful seronok, terlalu seronok. Like sleeping on the bed is nice. This is even better. So you must be on the level that you can still see change. And you watch that anapana object, you can see the rising and passing wave still going on. But no hindrances. Hindrances are still far away. That's why excess concentration depends on what you talk. Excess concentration is very close, almost the jhana, there's one excess concentration. The other excess concentration is when the 5 hindrances are properly inhibited enough for you to practice vipassana. But it's too excess, it's too close to the absorption that you cannot do vipassana concentration. Then it's purely samatha. So, but if it is not samatha yet, but very close, you can still see change and impermanence, then you can be doing vipassana. But you must specially direct your mind at the 3 characteristics. If you don't specially direct your mind at 3 characteristics, even though it is not so close to jhana, you're still peaceful. You can see the breath changing, coming, going, so nice, coming, so nice, pleasant, no dukkha, anatta, who cares? Bochap. Then you're not doing vipassana. You do vipassana, like if you want to brush, it must be like just on cutting vegetables. And like that, then you're doing vipassana, yeah. Cutting vegetables in your nose. Changing very fast. Then it is vipassana. So, but in this case, let's say you talk about actual Mahagata jhanas, then only inside you cannot see the impermanence, only when you come out. When you come out and you see the impermanence, the disappearing of the jhanas, disappearing and so on, and then you can see the impermanence. That means the jhanas arise and pass away very fast. Is it possible? Normal samatha people cannot. They go jhanas, so nice, stuck there. Already break, full still break, stop. Break already jam. You're not going anywhere. Whereas vipassana different. Vipassana, that's why there's a talk about vipassana jhana, which people don't believe. There was such thing as vipassana. From what I believe there is. So vipassana jhanas, see the jhanas arise and pass away very fast. And this comes in a special case where you've done enough of samatha, you've done enough of vipassana, and then that happens. So in that case, those are more dramatic practices, where the mind is very powerful, the mind goes very deep, and like those people that go in and jhanas come out and reflect on impermanence, go in and out and jhanas, and then finally go into neither perception, non-perception, and go to Nirodha Samapatti. Those type of people, not anybody. Those are anagamis, with all the full jhana attainments and mastery in them. It's okay, we stop today's talk here. Any questions? Ang Daring, tourist leader, anything?
Can we tell the mind, go to vipassana, don't go to samatha?
Yeah, you can, of course you can tell the mind anything. Yeah? Whether he will listen to you or not, it's another matter. Yeah? You can try. Telling the mind is like making an adhitthana, resolution. Huh? You can say, don't go to samatha, go to vipassana. Watch the three characteristics. You try. You will work. You still go to samatha. Your mind doesn't like to listen. My mind like to sleep. Seronok, senyap, sunyi, seronok. So that means you don't let it go in. The moment you go in, pull out, wash, rising and passing away. Yeah. If you cannot, maybe the mind is cannot used to such subtle objects. So you bring it back to the gross object, rising, falling, pain. Don't let it go into that peaceful state. Keep it up in the gross state for a longer time before you let it go into the subtle state. Yes, good question. Anything more? Just no more we can do the transference. idang me punyang asava khayavahang hotu idang me punyang nibbanasa pacayo hotu imang no punya vagang sabba sattana Dhamma